For those of you curious, this is the journey of an Aspy. If you had seen me a decade ago, things would have been a far different story. I didn't have most of the social capabilities needed to make connections, and the ones I did were minimal at best. Even before that, my parents were in the same position most parents were when they were told that their child has autism. Back then, the most accurate representation of autism was the movie Rain Man. Even though autism was the motivator for the extra effort, it was that way for a good reason. For those affected by autism in one way or another, I can tell you this. It felt like some invisible wire had sewn my mouth shut, and no matter what, I couldn't force anything out, not even screams. It was exactly as painful as it sounds. It had deprived me of my ability to speak, my ability to communicate. It would take more than a few years to help me speak again, let alone start or follow conversations or clearly understand what I was reading. However, this didn't stop my parents from making sure that I had the resources I needed. I still remember from my elementary school days on how my mom ended up becoming a full-time assistant teacher, as she spent so much time at my school that they asked her to become one. After all that my parents had done for me, I can say that it wasn't just the resources that helped me. It was their never-ending conviction and drive that helped me break out of the cage that was holding me prisoner. During my time in middle school, I did my schoolwork. I made a handful of friends and didn't mind sitting by myself at lunch. To me, middle school felt uneventful at first, but looking back, I realized it helped plant the seeds for me to establish a social group. There, I joined about a couple of clubs. I performed in the middle school's concert band, and the friendships I made there would be the kind of friendships that would last even throughout high school and beyond. However, it wasn't until the second half of my time in high school that the seeds blossomed into something beautiful. I started to become even more involved in clubs. In fact, when the Autism Awareness Club was formed at my school, while most of the volunteers who joined did so mainly to get service hours or to make their resume look good, a select few amongst the group, myself included, did it for the passion of letting people know what it was like to live with autism. I became club president, helped organize several events, and created awareness. I realized then that what made me grow was my gaining of perspective and the ability of helping others. I realized that not many people on the spectrum were as lucky as I was, and then it became my duty to help provide a voice for the voiceless. I remember being asked to speak at a kickoff event just to share my own experiences. To this day, my parents have told me time and time again that when I took that stage, I was a completely different person. I was no longer a meek teenager, but a bright young man, full of poise and presence. It was then when I scored a beautiful date on the way to the prom, did powder puff cheerleading 2 years in a row, and when I finally had my first girlfriend, that I became who I am today. There are a lot of things that most of us might consider either mundane or ordinary, but to someone on the spectrum and to everyone involved, achieving these tasks are considered celebrations in themselves. The common concern for those on the spectrum is learning how to do everyday tasks, like taking out the trash, going to school, and making your bed. I do my own laundry, I wash the dishes, and I even cook meals for my family when necessary. Another challenge of autism is learning how to socialize with people and establish connections. I've spoken with congressmen and mayors. Even though I have no problem speaking in front of 30,000 people at an event in Miami, I still have difficulty keeping in touch with 3 friends. But quite possibly, one of the most daunting tasks anyone with autism will have to deal with is driving a car. I drive to and from Florida Atlantic and University almost every single day. As of now, I'm planning on majoring in information technology, and this is my 3rd year at FAU. This is also my 2nd year with the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. There was a conference I remember where the main presenter told the audience that telling people that you have autism was a bad thing, that it would cause people to label you, to judge you, to think of you as a lesser person. From personal experience, I can tell you that this statement is completely wrong. For I've told people with my Asperger's not to evoke pity, but to evoke understanding. In return, they gave me compassion, and they became aware of the situation. So being on the spectrum shouldn't be a negative thing, as it's actually something that inspires people to know more, what it's like to live on the spectrum. I'm not going to sugarcoat this next part, but you will have to prepare for the unthinkable and work really hard daily. You'll have to prepare for those who believe that autism is just another political excuse, those who will try to take advantage of those with autism, and those who will simply give up on those with autism rather than trying to tough it out. I know this because I've known people who've had to deal with the former, and I've personally dealt with the latter. You need not to worry though, as these are meant as tests of your strength and conviction. Seeing the audience gathered here tonight, I can tell that I know you have the strength to take on life's many, many challenges. All that's required of you is a relentless effort. Just remember to take it one day at a time, and you will go really far. You are going to be okay. Your children are going to be okay. They will make it in this unpredictable world. I am proof that those on the spectrum can make it. As long as you keep working hard and keep fighting, your struggle will not be for naught. As Winston Churchill once said, never, 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 in nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Thanks for your attention this evening.